Okay, and we are now live, and let me, of course, now, there we go, and we will start the show.
From their spinning teacups, where they ponder the difference between Tweedledum and Tweedledee, it's the Mr. Frank's Wild Ride Show. We're gonna have great Disney talk, music, mayhem, and mirth.
Gosh, oh boy!
What's mirth?
So let's round up our hosts as we start up our engines for Mr. Frank's Wild Ride Show.
Cause Mr. Frank's Wild Ride Show is the wildest ride in the wilderness.
Well, hello, everybody. This is Disney Frankness, and welcome to Mr. Frank's Wild Ride. And with me is my co-host, Christiane Elin. Hello.
Hello.
And we have, well, now our buddy Chris, he's still on a little leave. He's still singing and performing, and so taking his place is my friend Denny, who we just lost. Oh, that's wonderful.
Oh, no.
Looks like that she just went for the hangout. This is the kind
He's
of
in
stuff,
Canada, right?
kind of stuff that happens to me all the time. Okay, well, she'll be back.
She'll be back. She'll be back.
Denny will come back, but there she
There she is.
Let me see. Denny. Okay, I see a picture. Come on. Come on, Denny. I see a picture. But it's Neverland Denny without the first E. And Neverland Danielle, I should say, actually. And Danelle. I say Danielle all the time. That's that Midwestern slang I've got. It's Danelle. And our guest this evening is, well, the voice of I should say the current voice of Snow White, and that is Katie Von Till. Hi, Katie.
Hey, everybody.
Hi.
So, I think the first thing I should ask as a Disney person is, how did you become the voice of Snow White? How did that happen?
Well, they were looking for a new voice, and the audition notice went out to all the voiceover agents, and like everybody else, I listened to some samples of Snow, original samples, and recorded an audition and sent that in, and then I had a callback at the Walt Disney Studios lot in Burbank, where I received some specific sort of redirection and was sort of put through the paces, as it were, and took a couple of weeks to find out I'd booked it, but I booked it. It's that simple. I auditioned, I got called back, and I booked it.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like, it wasn't any sort of magic, recipe. I will say that my initial audition was, they were looking for a couple other voices at the same time, and those other voices I listened to over and over and over again and really sort of worked on them and studied them. And Snow, I just listened to the sample once, and I thought, I've got this. And I went into my closet studio, yes, it's a closet, and recorded it in one take, recorded my audition in one take. She was just somehow inside me, I guess, and so it came really naturally. Even though, as you can tell with my natural speaking voice, I don't actually sound anything like her, but somehow it just fit me.
So you've done like voice-over work and voices before?
Yep, I do a lot of voiceover work. I do other animation. I've done Robot Chicken. I've done the new Lego Batman movie, DC Comic Heroes Unite. I've done a lot of video games. I do a lot of commercials, radio, and television. I spent 6 months as the voice of a network, the Style Network for NBC Universal, doing all of their promos, on-air promos. So I've kind of run the gamut through the voiceover biz, as it were. Been very lucky.
Is this one of your favorites?
Oh no, this isn't one of my favorites. This is my favorite. There is nothing better than being the current voice of Snow White. Nothing better, because when you tell people that, they have a sort of visceral reaction, particularly when you tell women. Because, you know, I mean, I don't know about you, but I always wanted to grow up and be a Disney princess, and, you know, that whole bit. It never occurred to me, though, that I could be one that already existed. That just wasn't in the realm of thought. So the idea that I actually grew up to be one and can tell other people, it's beyond a thrill. It's so great.
And what I like is that I now know that Snow White is a blonde.
That's right. I think the last one, I've not met Carolyn Gardner, who was the voice before me, but I think she had auburn hair, or red. So.
I mean, when you were doing, I assume at some point you must have been, you know, fooling with your voice and how to do it. Did you White, or did you do this voice before and think it was another princess, or?
No, I hadn't done the voice before. It's sort of similar in my mind to some other voices. It has, you know, that definite 1930s kind of feel. So you start to think about other characters from the 30s, or like Shirley. I always think about Shirley Temple a little bit because I can picture the way she held her mouth when she spoke, and so I think that a lot about that when I'm doing the voice. And just other things from the 1930s, other characters, I sort of use bits and pieces of them, and then I just match, you know, the pitch, the cadence, the placement in the voice, how forward it is in your face versus the back of your throat for resonance. And then, of course, I'm a singer as well, so matching her crazy vibrato. she's got that crazy vibrato that's so telling of the time. I mean, back in the 30s, everybody had that. That was the era. So fortunately, I'm classically trained, so that wasn't, you know, much of a stretch for me. So I kind of lucked out.
Okay, this is going to mean, you know, it's going to mean a lot to me. It's going to mean a lot, even more to all any females that hear this. But can we have one little snippet of Snow White saying hi?
Oh, you know what? I'm not allowed to be videotaped doing her voice.
Really?
So,
okay.
Yeah, I can't be recorded doing it, but I have my toy here that I'm the voice of. So I can play you a snippet of her actually doing it. So.
Oh, I love the little people.
Katie and I were talking about this the other day. She actually had to pay for this toy.
I did. So this is the Disney Princess Song Palace. It's part of the Little People collection from Fisher-Price, and so this is Snow White. You plug her into this little thing, and she says a couple of phrases and sings a song. So, let's see.
I just love today. So come with this so very high. Hello there. My name is Snow White.
And that's her.
That's so cute.
Isn't that cute? Super fun. Super fun.
So how many times do you have friends that have children and you get to talk to them as Snow White?
It takes a bit. People will put their kids on the phone. Of course, I never do it in person. I would never want to,
Right.
you know.
You don't want to break the magic.
Yeah, definitely not. And but occasionally someone will say, well, "Oh, can you call my daughter or my niece and talk to her on her birthday, that sort of thing." So I've done that, and it's really fun because kids ask the craziest questions.
Okay, I already have a request. I've got 2 girls, so.
Okay, sure. But it's really, really fun. But kids will say things to me that you don't expect them to ask you, so you have to I'm constantly sort of Rolodexing in my brain to see what's the right answer to this question. You know, I buy a lot of Snow White products, and I keep her recordings in my car, so I'm constantly sort of listening to her and keeping fresh and making sure I'm really in touch with the character. But there are some questions they ask that I think, oh gosh, like, you know, what did you do today? And where's Dopey? What did he do today? One of the ones I loved was, are you an adult? So, you know, these are just like just crazy things kids ask and kids say. It's really a treat. I love that.
I would say, do you avoid apples now that you're Snow White?
Actually, no, but I eat a lot of green apples because there's a trick actually for voiceover that if you're having a lot of sort of mouth noise, like, you know, not to be gross, but like the saliva in your mouth, if you're having a lot of sort of mouth noise, the trick to get rid of that is to eat a green apple. Something about the acidity in a green apple will clear that right up.
Got tips? Yay.
Now, when you record, are you always by yourself?
For Snow White, yes. Yes. I'm always over with the Disney people, and they direct, even if it's a subsidiary thing like this Fisher-Price thing. The same voice directors at Disney Character Voices will direct me, and it's always in a booth in Burbank, and it's really great. The microphones that they record us on, they've had for like 50 years or something. So I think about all of the legends that must have recorded on these same microphones. It's really kind of astounding, and such an honor to be so connected to that kind of history.
How busy do they keep you? Because I mean, obviously we don't have a Snow White movie, so.
Well, when I first got the job, he said to me, "Look, you're not Cinderella. You're not going to be in here every couple of weeks. But you'll be in here about once a quarter, and that's about right. So about once a quarter, I'm in there doing something. And so far, I've done a couple of toys. I've done a video game for the Xbox. I've done a video game that's on an iPhone app. I've done radio commercials, and there was a projection show both at Magic Kingdom and Disneyland called The Magic Memories in You, and I did a line in that as well. So.
Well, I forgot about that. That's true. Now we were on here the other day just kind of practicing, and Katie turned me on to this app that people can download for free on the iPhone, and it says Seven Dwarves. I think it's how we found it, wasn't it, Katie? Is that they go out on I believe they went to iTunes, and you just instead of dwarves, how you would normally.
Disney always says dwarfs, not dwarves.
Yeah, so it's DWARFS.
Correct.
And you can get this new Snow White app, and so I'm gonna test it out myself. So, let's see. Now, I think we also had mentioned how long you've been Snow White for. How long?
I've been Snow White now for 2.5 years.
So, do you have any fun going to Disneyland and hearing your voice somewhere?
Yeah. Well, first of all, my history with Disney is a bit longer than this. Actually, I have a Disney connection from before being Snow, and that is I was a singer at Tokyo Disneyland. Wow. So I actually spent 8 months there as a performer. I sang in a show called Feel the Magic and another show called The Wacky Bandstand. And in Feel the Magic, I was Ariel and Pocahontas. And when I was at Tokyo Disneyland, occasionally I would go into the park on days off just to have fun and whatnot. And I really fell in love with Snow White's Grotto. And I had been to Disneyland growing up in California. I'm from Northern California, maybe a handful of times. So I wasn't super familiar with the park the way that I am now. And so I didn't really know what Snow White's Grotto was. And when I was at Tokyo Disneyland, I was like, oh, the other singer on the track said, you've got to come hear this. It's so fun. There's an echo in the well, and the sound comes from the fountain, and then the well echoes it. And I was in love with Snow White's Grotto. And I used to sit there and sort of sing along with it. And it never occurred to me, that I would go into voiceover, let alone, be her voice, which is crazy. But I forget your question, Frank. What was it?
No, I was just wondering if you go into the park to hear what you've recorded.
Yeah, right. So when the Magic Memories in You was running in here in Anaheim, I did go down and have a listen. And it was really exciting. And some people want the best view. I was asking around and saying, "Where's the nearest speaker?" So I had people tell me, where's the best speaker, so I couldn't really hear myself. And I knew where it was coming because people post everything on YouTube now. So I had seen a YouTube recording of the show, so I knew where in the show my voice was going to come and so forth, so I could be really prepared and really listen. And of course, what I wanted to do was to shush everybody around me. Be quiet! I'm about to speak, but I didn't. But I heard it pretty well. But it was a real thrill, a real thrill.
Now, Denny, do you have any questions for Snow White?
Do you like the new show Once Upon a Time?
I do like Once Upon a Time. I haven't watched any this season yet. I have 2 DVRs, and I'm very, very backlogged. I watch a lot of television because I do not only voiceover, but I do on-camera work as well. Just this past season, well, actually just a couple weeks ago, I worked on the CBS show Mom. I just did a couple episodes of Anger Management. I did an episode of The Middle, an episode of Sam and Cat on Nickelodeon. So I work a lot on camera. I have a commercial running right now. So I do a lot of television-based work, so I watch a ton of television. So I am behind on the show. I am behind on the show, but I love it. I particularly loved the first season. I was just in love with it. In love with it. It's a great show.
I love that show too, but I can understand. It's kind of difficult to say, Once Upon a Time when you have one actress who's Snow White, and then you have your voice at the parks, and totally different things. Because I don't think I've ever heard her voice get up real high.
Well, no, she's what's happening on that show is sort of an alternate,
right?
Sort of reimagined of everything, right? But her animated self is her, totally different, and that's what's never going to change. She's always going to sound like Adriana Caselotti. That's her. That's her branding. They keep it consistent. Her animated self is her animated self. So, they're really. I think Disney does such a wonderful job with their branding and their consistency. So that I think that's part of what sort of keeps the magic alive and keeps the brand really strong. So I think they've nailed it.
I just think it's
Katie,
cool.
you have the. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, okay, Katie, we see that you shared with us the Little People Castle. Now, are there any other items since you've done other work that you have that you've kept?
You mean like not Snow White?
Like the games or anything?
The Snow White games, or
any of your whole work.
Okay, I have another toy right here. Hold on, let me grab it.
Okay.
Katie, I've got in my chat room, I have Benny who has a question for you. First, he says he wants to thank you for following him on Twitter.
Oh, okay.
And but he says, who is your favorite dwarf?
Well, I'll probably say Happy, just because I think happiness is so important, and also because I met his voice. So he's one that I've met so far.
There you go. I've got. This
is another toy that I'm the voice of. I do a lot of singing on this one. It's a Fisher-Price Happy Sounds Home. I'm in all kinds of video games. How to Train Your Dragon, Watchmen.
Okay, you want to know what's fun for me is that people tell me I act too much like a kid, and I'm watching you, and you have all these toys, and I know that you bought that one too, didn't you?
I did.
Okay.
I've been buying them lately for friends' kids because I'm of a certain age where a lot of my friends have small children right now, so I'll buy them as gifts, and then somebody said to me, oh, you should have one. You should keep one for yourself, and I thought, yeah, I should. So I went and bought it, and then I bought one. I thought, well, I should buy another one. So I did that, and it's funny that my first Snow White gig was for a game called what's it called? I think it's called Disneyland Adventures, and it's for Xbox Connect. And so I went and bought an Xbox just so I could play. I just wanted to hear it. I wanted to hear it so desperately. So I went and dropped, $400 or whatever it is on an Xbox just so I could hear myself. Meanwhile, I don't have the patience to play the whole game, So I've only heard like the first few phrases that you can hear before you have to really commit to the game. So.
Let's see. I've got some other things here in the chat room for you. Well, first of all, my friend Ryan's in the chat room. He says thank you for following him on Twitter.
You're welcome.
Singing Mickey has a question. What tips would you have for any aspiring voice actor?
Well, my biggest tip would be that there's no difference between voice acting and quote-unquote regular acting, be it on stage or on camera. So first and foremost, you have to be a great actor. And it doesn't matter how many funny voices you can do or people you can imitate. You've got to be a great actor. So I would say do what I do, which is constantly be training. I'm in class 2 nights a week. The other nights a week that I'm not in class, I'm usually in a workshop of some sort.
Wow.
With a casting director or somebody else who might give me some information. I even took a workshop once from Bill Farmer, voice of Goofy, because I thought, well, he's a legend in my field.
Friend of the show.
Yeah, so and he's a great guy. And I thought I want to hear what he has to say. He's been doing this a long time.
Yes, ma'am.
I have not. I've only been in this part of the business since 2006. Doing stage since I was a little kid, and then TV and film, for the last decade or so. But yeah, I'm constantly in class. I'm constantly training. The other thing for voice acting is that specifically, you are often recording something as you are reading it for the first time. So when I show up for my Snow White session, I'm literally reading the line as it's being recorded for the first time. I've not seen the script before, so it's very much a fly by the seat of your pants kind of gig. So you need to be able to really commit, make really strong choices very quickly. I recommend a lot of cold reading. I take the cold reading class every week. And you just got to be afraid. You can't be afraid to make a fool of yourself. You just have to commit. Make a choice and commit and go with it. So that's the biggest thing. If you want to be a voice actor, take acting classes, scene study, cold reading, improv, definitely. That's about the commitment and making choices on the fly. Those would be my big 3 over there.
Let's see, and then my friend Ryan, he says he would like to know, how did you become the voice of Snow? How are you discovered for the part?
Well, as I was mentioning before, my agent had the audition. It went out to all the agents, that do voiceover, and so my agent thought I would be right for it. So she sent me the audition.
I would think that'd be kind of difficult too, because you really have to think of how. When I look at you, I almost want to say Cinderella because of your blonde hair.
Well, the voice of Cinderella is Jennifer Hale, and she's a brunette.
So do you when you do Snow White's voice, do you picture how she looks when you?
Oh yeah. Oh, I picture her in my mind. I always do her hand gestures. That's a really big thing for me. I'm constantly doing this and this and really sort of physicalizing her as much as I can, which I do in all of my voice acting actually. If I'm playing a curmudgeonly person, I'm gonna do the whole physicality. Same thing with Snow. When I'm thinking of her, I'm doing all of her things, and lots of sighs and things like that, because she does a lot gasps and whatnot, So I think about all that stuff, and I visualize her, and I keep one of her dolls in my car, and I just, in case I'm showing up to a session, I just want to look at her really quick. I want to hear her recording really quick before I head in, and just sort of always keep her fresh in my mind. So yes, definitely.
I think it'd be fun if somehow they asked you one time to go to the park and you dressed as Snow.
Well, those girls that dress as Snow down at the park are pretty girls. Like, when you're a face character, you have got a gorgeous face. Come on, I worked with half of these kids when I was in Tokyo Disneyland. All of our face characters came from either LA or Orlando. And, those girls are gorgeous. So I don't think I would pass.
Oh.
Not at all.
Yeah, you're not pretty enough. I'm sorry.
No.
She's got a certain look, right? You got to be a certain height. You got to fit the costume. You got to have the right face shape. You know.
This is true. This is true. You've got it. Yeah, I can understand that.
So okay, if you since you're Snow White, what princess do you actually identify with the most?
Ooh.
Well, now it's Snow White, but growing up it was Aurora. That was my girl. Yeah, I love that movie. I felt very attached to her as a little kid, and then of course, when The Little Mermaid came out, then I was fully entrenched in musical theater as a young. I was, I guess, a preteen. What year did that come out? You guys remember?
89.
Yeah. Okay, so I was in 8th grade. Good job. Yeah, 10 points. 10 points for you. Win today's podcast. You win it.
Aww, thank you.
So then, obviously, that came out, and my mind was blown. I thought, oh, I love this. So I sang Part of Your World more than probably any song I ever sang in my whole life, which is why when I got the gig in Tokyo Disneyland, I was beyond thrilled, beyond. I felt much more attached to her than I did to Pocahontas. But, yeah, Aurora was definitely my girl, and she's voiced by a friend of mine named Kate Higgins, and who's lovely, and we actually met in a voiceover waiting room, and she said, "Is your name Katie Von Till?" And she saw my name on the sign-in sheet, and I said, "Yeah," and she said, "Did you just book something big at Disney?" And I said, "Yeah." And I wasn't sure, we're not really supposed to tell her, and I was like, I don't know what would happen. And she said, "You're Snow White, aren't you?" And I said, "Mm-hmm." And she goes, "I'm Aurora." So I thought, oh, yay, little princess party in the waiting room. It was really great. And then I met Jennifer Hale. I met her. I went to the premiere party for Sophia the First because my very good friend and wonderfully talented voiceover artist, Megan Strange, plays Robin on Sophia the First. She recurs. And she was Paw Pilot on Special Agent Oso. I owe my entire voiceover career to her, by the way. Wow. And she invited me to be her guest at the premiere. So, and of course, she and I and Jennifer Hale, the voice of Cinderella, we all have the same agent. So we sat and ate together and chit-chatted and whatnot. So I met Jennifer there. And she was lovely.
Well, that's cool.
Sounds like a great sorority to be a part of.
Right? What a club.
Well, I
gotta tell you this. I gotta give another shout out really quickly to the voice before me, Carolyn Gardner. When she quite literally passed the crown to me. When I booked the role, she sent me the most wonderful, heartfelt note, long letter, full-page letter, and a lovely little Snow White card telling me her history with the role, her history having met Adriana Caselotti, her history having studied with Mary Kay Bergman, who did the role before her, and then her quite literally, passing the crown to me. And I hope that a long time from now, when it's time for me to hang up my crown, that I pass it off with as much warmth and grace and kindness that she did. It touched me like I couldn't have thought that it would. So my hat's off to her.
Oh, that's nice. That means a lot too, because like you said, I mean, you've been Snow White for 3.5 years now, and
2.5.
your gigs are kind of far between, but to have that to share with somebody is really that's really touching. It really is. I mean, it's write you that nice big long letter, and
and the fact that she actually knew the two before her, so she feels really, really connected to the role, and it made me feel more connected to her, and then vicariously through her to the women before her.
Well, I'm just looking to see. I think we've already answered this question. Ryan had asked, "What's the best part of being Snow's voice?" But
tell him.
I think that probably the best would be that people would have to suddenly look at you and just try to figure you looking like Snow White. That would be fun.
Is that what they do? I don't know. I'm so used to knowing voice actors, so I'm so used to knowing that we all play different parts. I mean, I play from old women to young boys, young girls, all kinds of teenagers. all different ethnicities and ethnic origins, like foreign dialects and different U.S. dialects, and I mean I played parts vocally that I would never play in real life. Like in real life, I'm never going to be the vixen in something, right? But in the voiceover world, yeah, it's great. I can play mean and evil and all that stuff. Fantastic.
Do you get to sing very much in your voiceover work?
A bit, yeah. I've sung as Snow. I sing on this toy, and I sang on a couple of different Fisher-Price toys that I've done. And also the occasional sort of, session singing kind of thing. I have a musical theater background. That's how I got started. So and I still do stage from time to time when my schedule permits. I do love stage, but it's a real time commitment, and it takes me out of other stuff. And as I'm sure you're aware, theaters across the country are having a really hard time. So trying to make a living in theater is really, really tough. And so when it takes me out of the on-camera and voiceover world stuff for less money and a big time commitment, it's hard to commit to that. But every once in a while, I still do something.
Well, Benny in our chat room has a nice request, although Benny, I don't believe that she'd be able to do this because then we'd hear Snow White singing, and she can't do Snow White's voice. But he wanted to know if you could sing "Whistle While You Work."
Oh yeah, I can't be videotaped doing her voice. That's an agreement that I've made with the powers that be.
Oh, and we totally understand that. I mean, listen, I said this before when we talked the other day, is that I feel very blessed when I've had Bill on the show, and he actually will say something as goofy.
Well, he's been doing this a lot longer than I am, so he may feel, and I don't know what his agreement is with them or not, but before I agreed to do the podcast, my agent made sure we were in contact with the people over at Disney Character Voices, and there are some things that I totally understand that I really.
No, we totally we respect that. I mean, listen, we feel privileged enough that Disney allowed you to come on and talk to us. So
I gotta tell you, they're wonderful people over there. I mean, I'm not just talking about the company on the whole. I'm talking about the people that I work with on a daily basis. The guy that runs casting over there, lovely guy, Brian. The directors over there, Ben and Renee, so talented, so gracious. They could be doing it themselves. They're so good.
Well, I tell you what, I just want to say, ladies, do you have anything else that you'd like to ask? Any other?
I just downloaded your iPad app for Snow White and is it called The Queen's Revenge?
Yeah, it's Journeying to the Forest or something like that. Yes, that's it.
I just downloaded it.
Awesome.
I just want to say we really appreciate you taking the time to come on tonight and talk with us.
Oh, it's my pleasure, and I'm thrilled to be asked. Thank you so much for asking. I really appreciate it. Like I said, she's my favorite role. I love to talk about it. I love to share it with people. So thank you.
Well, it's a big thrill for us. So we thank you so much. And everybody, if you wish to follow Katie, that's at Katie Von Till. It's 2 L's, right?
Correct.
And so you can follow her on Twitter. And
please do. I'm trying to get my numbers up.
Thank you for following me, Katie.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Me as well. That's what I was thinking.
So hopefully we can have you back, after a while, and we'll maybe get an update.
I'd love to. Anytime. Please stay in touch, and
they have that new.
Maybe down the road I'll have something really exciting to share. Who knows?
Well, they have the new ride coming out for Snow, so that I'm sure there was some new recordings that you had to do for that. No.
She can't talk about it.
Can't talk about it.
Oh. Well, see, I'll say we'll wait till it's out, and then maybe we can talk about it then. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm saying, so we'll
hope and I hope. Let's just say that. I hope.
Right. It would make sense. So we'll wait and see, but
and it looks like we'll see her on a lot of other things, and she's doing a lot of TV work, and if you not just get to hear her voice, you get to see her.
Yeah.
So you said, is there something out right now where everybody might see you? Was there? You said a
Oh,
commercial?
I have a national commercial running right now with John Stamos for Oikos Greek yogurt.
Well, there you
So
go.
you catch it runs a lot during morning and daytime television. So if you're watching, morning TV, all the morning talk shows, you're liable to see me eating a bunch of yogurt and fawning for John Stamos, as one does. And of course, John Stamos, a huge Disney file. He's a huge.
I
Disney.
know. I would love to have him on here to talk because I know he just loves Disney stuff.
Oh, big time, big time.
I heard something about John Stamos about Full House coming back.
Oh, I have read something about that too. I think it's going to be a spin-off with
Like DJ and Stephanie.
with DJ and Stephanie Tanner, I think. Yeah, I read that too. I don't know how accurate that was, but I saw a little bit of that on Facebook. I got to tell you though, he's a nice guy. So I'm not surprised he's a Disney fan because he's really nice and so dreamy.
We'll have to work on that, Frank.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to see if we can get him on the show somehow or another. But, anyway, thank you so much for taking the time.
Thanks for having me, guys. It's a pleasure getting to meet you guys virtually, or as it were, and chit chat. I hope you're back sometime.
Absolutely, we will. Like I said, maybe we'll work it out after Snow White's ride, and we'll see if we can have you back on and talk about the stuff that you did. So.
Sounds great.
Well, everybody, stick with us. Everybody in the chat room is saying thank you so much. They really appreciate
You're welcome, everybody.
it. And stick with this. We'll be right back. We'll update you with some Disney news. So, well, Katie, thank you so much again.
Oh, you're welcome.
All right. Well, you have a good evening.
Thanks, you too, guys. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Okay, take care.
What are you going to talk about?
What do we talk about?
Yeah, the rest of the show. What are you talking about?
Oh, nothing. We're going to update ourselves with Disney news, and my voice is a little off, and so I'm going to probably play an old Mr. Frank's Mouse-to-Piece Theater. I mean, if you want to hang out, you can. You're welcome to hang out.
I don't mind hanging out for a little bit. I can't promise for the whole rest of the show, but I don't mind hanging out.
But yeah, Mouse-to-Piece Theater. I do my impersonations of Mickey, Goofy, Donald, and so I have them in different scenarios, and some of them are recorded. I'm just going to play one of those, I think, on the show, but that's just the plan. But we're going to update ourselves now. Daniela, do you have or Danielle? See, it's my Midwestern deal. I'm sorry.
Danielle.
Not my name.
I know.
Thank you.
I told you it's my Midwestern drawl. It gets me in trouble. Denny.
Okay.
I'll say Denny. It's easier.
Yeah.
Denny, you've got stuff up for Walt Disney World?
Nope, not yet.
Okay.
Didn't know I was doing that.
Oh, you forgot?
I didn't know. Nobody mentioned it.
Oh, okay. That's my fault. I should have said that. That's your responsibility as a
Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, you're in big trouble. Whip.
I'll get stuff up.
I think the one that I just use is wdwnews.com.
Okay.
If that helps, Shani.
It does. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Disney Parks blog. That is the source I love.
Oh, Grumpy Cat, why were you in Disneyland? That was the first picture that showed up.
I have to say, I did like the video they put out where Grumpy Cat met Grumpy the Dwarf.
It was cute. I didn't know that cat was so, like, his legs are short. When he was walking, I was like, oh, he's so low to the ground. I don't even know if it's a he or is it a she?
I'm guessing a he too. I don't know.
Not sure.
We need to get the feed
Ooh.
from friends. Grumpy Cat, Grumpy Cat.
Oh.
Let me see. I need to have up here.
Dateline Disney.
How much longer is the show? Another like 15 minutes, or are you?
Well, no, we'll probably spend. Depends. I mean, it could be as short as 15 minutes. It's probably more like half an hour. We go through the news of the parks, and then we finish up. After that, on the third part of the show, that's when I'll play a Mouse-to-Piece Theater, and and we'll say our goodbyes.
Got it. Well, maybe I will sign off then. I don't know.
That's okay.
Okay, no worries.
It is getting to be dinner time here.
I
Yes,
understand.
it is. I know.
We understand. It's
Yeah,
absolutely.
like, I'm hungry too.
All right, it's 6 o'clock there. Okay.
Well, 6:15, so.
6:15. It's 8 o'clock here, so I already ate.
Rub it in, why don't you?
I'm sorry. I'd send you food if I could through the screen, but I can't.
You guys are living in the future, so we get to do it better.
Awesome. All right, guys, I'm going to sign off then.
Okay. Well, thank you so
So
much.
much. Had a great time. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
She's so cute. Oh, she's fun.
Let's see.
That's a great job. How can you not be happy about that kind of job?
Yeah, that's got to be a lot of fun.
Oh, okay, Fantasyland expansion. Didn't that hall open up like a few weeks ago? These aren't new headlines.
Okay, I'm sorry. I've just got singing Mickey in the chat room is asking me.
Who is singing Mickey? Have they revealed their name besides singing Mickey?
I don't know. It's singing Mickey says that's the Twitter name and that they follow me. So.
Oh. Roll with the show. Ah, the Christmas season started. I'm sorry. I'm good with Christmas at Disney. I'm not good with Christmas here. It's just snow and cold, and it's good the first week, and then it's just like, I'm going to move. I swear.
So you want to move to Florida?
No, actually, I've discussed this with one of my friends. I want to move to Vancouver.
Oh.
Because then it's nice. You don't get that much snow at all. It's just like rainy and stuff. So you don't get snow. It doesn't get as cold as where I am in the middle of the prairies. And we talked about it, and there's cheaper flights down to Disneyland and more flights and stuff like that. And it's easier than where I live, where it's like...
Okay.
Sorry.
What snow? I don't get it.
Yeah, you live in California.
Cold? Yeah, it's cold today. It's like 50 degrees at night.
Oh, burr.
I had to wear a jacket last night at Disneyland, okay?
It's
It was
going
80
down.
today.
And it's going down. It's going down
I-
to
I'm
minus 16 Celsius
Oh.
here tonight.
Wow. Yes, that's
Mhm.
cold. I'm originally from Iowa. I did live in the snow at one time, so.
And if you're hearing like clapping, that's my dad because the hockey team scored.
Okay. All right. So here I'm going to count down. I'll do the intro into Disney News.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Gork, and now it's time for Disney News.
And welcome back, everybody. And for Disney News, we always start out there on the West Coast. And Christiane, what is happening out at Disneyland?
Well, a couple things just happened this past weekend. They celebrated 5 years of Vinylmation with a bunch of special events, with a few special figurines that were limited to about 1,000 to 2,000. So whoever were the lucky ones, I'm assuming they probably went pretty fast. I'm sure they're probably gone already. And then I wish I would have realized, because I was at Disneyland yesterday, that at Downtown Disney, they celebrated 38 years of the Festival of the Masters Magic. So down there, downtown Disney, on the west side, they had a bunch of like arts and crafts that you could do. House of Blues was in there doing a folk art festival as well, so it was fun for children and adults alike. The one thing that I was excited about yesterday is on November 1st, the Thor exhibit opened, Thor Treasures of Asgard, and I got there a little past, it's inside Innoventions, I got there a little past the time that Thor, you get to go see Thor and try to, pick up his hammer. So I got to enjoy all of the, I guess from the movie, they have a lot of the pieces from the movies. Loki's helmet, daggers, shields, sheaths, they look amazing. So check it out if you go there. And also, they still have continued to have the Iron Man exhibition there, which I guess was rumored to have left at the end of summer, but it's still there. So we've got Iron Man and Thor right next to each other. So as an Avengers fan, I was pretty happy about that. If you're a foodie, of course, there's always food news at Disneyland. We've got it says here at, let me see what, the Splitsville menu at Downtown Disney, they've introduced 16 gluten-free dishes. So, you know, it's good that Disney's looking out for everybody's health and including everyone. And they didn't separate it out to like a special menu just for the gluten-free. It's all included on there, and I guess many of the dishes are fantastic, and they have everything from appetizers that are gluten-free, a gluten-free pizza, and sushi, even gluten-free sushi, which I was surprised they said that some of the was it fish or crab or something that or sauces aren't gluten-free. So yay for people that are that need that kind of diet. You have a new alternative there at Disney. And we have to bring up shopping, because there wouldn't be Disney without going shopping. There is, Downtown Disney is going to have some new shops. 6 new shops that are going to open in spring 2014. We've got Beautifully Disney, which is makeup, fragrance, beauty accessories. Cherry Tree Lane, which says, I'm reading from the Disney Park blogs. It says, for the sophisticated woman with a passion for scarves, shoes, bags, and jewelry. So,
because all the sophisticated women shop at Disney.
Well, yes. And they have a DTAC on demand, so electronic accessories, a trophy room with vintage-inspired and sports clothing, Centerpiece, which is for your home products with Disney-inspired, and Zoe and Pickles for little girls' trendy clothing. And then some sad news, some sort of sad news, I think. If you've gone to Disneyland, I'm sure you've enjoyed this at the Big Thunder Ranch Jamboree. Billy Hill and the Hillbillies will be ending their performances on January 6, 2014. It'll be the final day that they will perform. So if you get a chance before the end of the, or just at the beginning of the year, get your chance to see them for the last time, because they're going to be a part of Disney that we will just have to remember in memories. So
so they're getting rid of that area?
No, just them. Their performances.
Oh, just their performances.
Yes.
Oh.
Billy Hill and the Hillbillies. They're fun. It's funny. I enjoyed it.
Is that I'm trying to remember what they call that at Disneyland. I've seen the videos of the area I'm thinking of, but I can't think what they call it. They sing outdoors, isn't it? It's not indoors, is it?
Well, you know, I was wondering. I think they're the same group that's at the Golden Horseshoe, but maybe I could be wrong. But I thought it was. I think they're the same group. They do for the holidays. They do sing outdoors. Yes.
Okay.
They have special holiday performances.
Alrighty. I'm such a bad person to remember that stuff. Like I said, it's last time I was at Disneyland was my honeymoon, so that was 25 years ago.
And we were talking about holiday stuff, like holiday Christmas coming out. Disney's got Christmas out right now, all the decorations, and I brought this little guy home with me yesterday. So.
Oh, that's cute.
You want to see him?
Now, does he make noise, or is he?
He lights up, but he doesn't belong to me. He belongs to Frank. So Frank will have to send me his address to send him to you.
You really? That's for me, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yay! Thank you.
Yes, he lights up. He lights up. His little head lights up, and then this little part right here lights up too. So.
Oh, I love that. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Oh, that was very sweet of you. Okay, well, that's awesome. Okay, well, let's switch over to the other side and on the East Coast and go to Walt Disney World. And Denny, what's happening out there?
Well, Christmas is there. They started the Christmas season. It's going from November 8th to December 20th. And then there's the Mickey's Very Merry Christmas parties on select nights. And then, I hit like a wrong button here. Sorry.
No, it's okay. The Christmas party. I was trying to remember if I'd read. I thought I'd read something about some of the updates, and I suddenly blanked out. I apologize. But
so the Christmas party is something like you have to buy an additional ticket for.
Yeah.
Okay, separate. Okay.
Separate ticket.
Yep.
Kind of like Halloween stuff, or at least
yeah, the Halloween stuff. Yeah. And then they just unveiled, I guess, Jingle Cruise, the first ever seasonal overlay of the Jungle Cruise attraction, debuted at Magic Kingdom Park. So, Jungle Cruise is going to be Christmas up, I guess. From the picture I see, it looks like they're putting Santa hats on all the animals. So, that'll be interesting.
Disneyland's getting that too.
Oh, they are? Awesome.
I think so.
Also, you know how Disneyland has the glow with the show mouse ears? They're like this, except they light up on the ears here. This is my Ariel one I got. I love it. Anyway, so Disneyland has had it at California Adventure for World of Color, and I believe they started it for Fantasmic. Maybe. I think I don't know. Anyways, they're moving it over to Magic Kingdom, and they're having it with the Magic Kingdom, the show that's on the castle. I can't remember what it's called. I remember it used to be Magic: The Memories in You, and that's something else. And they have it now for the Osborne Family. How do you say this? Osborne Family Spectacle of Lights in Hollywood Studios. So, those people look like they're having fun. And what else?
I'll tell you what. One year, I wish, I hope that somehow I can earn enough money that my family and I, that's my wife and my daughter and I, can go to Disney World, in November, in early November for the Christmas celebrations. I know it's going to be crowded, but I've just never been there for Christmas. I've been there twice for the October, for Halloween stuff, but not for Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
So, is it really bad at Christmas? Is it like person to person, wall to wall?
I wasn't there during major really the week before Christmas. I was there the last time I went to Walt Disney World. I went with my parents, and we went around Remembrance Day. So that's actually tomorrow, and it was fine. And then once it got to the weekend right before Remembrance Day, my mom and I got on rides 5-10 minutes. The second it got to Friday, half an hour, 45-minute wait, and you couldn't get, it was a wall of people going anywhere, and we tried to find shortcuts. We found one, on the side of the castle to get to, I think it was the Fantasyland area.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just recommend, people want to go for these special occasions. Like, I was scared to go for the Halloween party in October because I knew it would be crowded, but you just have to, like, breathe and think, you want this, you've, like, saved up a bunch of money to go and do this specific event, and you just have to breathe and bring your patience with you because a lot of people won't have patience and they'll just ruin their own holiday.
Yeah, I can understand that. Like I said, I've been there for the October Halloween stuff, and it was pretty busy for the party, but it was I think pretty well worth it. The stuff that I did, I was happy with, and actually one of those visits it was a gift from Disney Dean, my friend Disney Dean. He actually paid for my entrance into the after party thing, the Boo to You. And all that stuff. So yeah, so I'm fortunate to have like you ladies to have some really nice friends, and I was just fortunate that year. I didn't expect it. He just paid for my ticket to get in, so that was really nice. So I'm sorry I interrupted what you were talking about.
Oh no. Oh, I'm just wondering. Do you know if the Haunted Mansion, does it stay all Nightmare Before Christmas up during Christmas, or is that just Halloween?
It's still that way now.
Okay.
At least the one in Disneyland is. So.
Okay. Yeah, they don't do anything.
They call it Haunted Mansion Holiday, so I think they keep it that way through the holidays.
Yeah, they do that only at Disneyland. They don't change it over like that at Disney World.
No, apparently they don't. I guess what I heard was in Disneyland they do it overnight and they put all the stuff up in the Haunted Mansion, and I guess Disney World can't do that. They don't have enough time, I'm guessing. That's what I'm guessing.
Well, actually, our guest that we had 2 weeks ago, he said he does take a little bit longer. He wasn't sure exactly about timing. I think it's overnight.
Oh, that was
It's
Jeff.
a lot of Jeff from DoomBuggies.com. Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, Jeff.
I forgot to mention yesterday when I was at Disneyland, we came on the day that they were filming for the Christmas Day, the Disney's Christmas Day parade, and so we missed a lot of the people performing, but Mary J. Blige and David Foster, we got to see them perform, so that was pretty awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty neat.
Yeah, we just lucked into that. So all day they got to see, other people got to see Dove Cameron and Demi Lovato, Jordan Sparks, and Jason Derulo were also there. So if you were at Disneyland yesterday, you got extra treats.
Jordan Sparks seems to be picking up a little bit on what she's doing with Disney, which is nice. She's a nice singer, but she was also there for the she was at Disney World for the opening when they opened up the expansion of Fantasyland.
Oh.
So she was there with her name is just blanked out of my mind. The woman who plays Snow White on Once Upon a Time.
Jennifer Goodwin.
Jennifer Goodwin.
Thank you. Her name had just blanked out of my head. But yeah, the two of them were there for the opening of. They were in front of the tavern.
Gaston's.
Thank you. I am losing my mind over here. Okay. Yes. Gaston.
I've spotted Jennifer Goodwin at Disneyland. I've spotted her at Disneyland before, so. As well as Jason Segel when he was working on like the Muppets movie, and there's been some good. And Kelly Osbourne was there before, and I don't know. It's weird because we're there like on the weekends. You're gonna run into celebrities there, but they're there. They're there.
It's just nice to know that they're like ourselves. I mean, they want to go and have a nice time, and they go someplace that's family oriented like Disney. So. It's just nice. It's just nice to see them, be able to do that.
But I live in California, so celeb sighting. Yawn.
That's true. That's true.
No, but since I do press work and everything, I'm very used to being around celebrities and meeting people. So.
Yep. That's cool. That's a really good experience. So, is that everything for Disney World?
The last thing I see is that guest meet and chat with Mickey Mouse at Town Square Theater in Magic Kingdom. So I guess the Mickey can talk to you.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've seen the YouTube videos on that from Disney as well. Yeah. So
That'll be interesting.
I don't think Mickey says your name, but he has
No.
certain things that he can say. So
That's cool. I like that.
that is cool. They have to kind of divvy it up. It looks like, but I mean, I've seen the videos of him doing that and other things too, where he talks. Actually, there's a Christmas video I just saw on YouTube where Goofy, Mickey, Minnie, and Donald all talked. So that was pretty cool. Well, thank you, ladies, and everybody stick with this. We'll be right back, and I'm going to play a Mouse-to-Piece Theater from 2011. So, gosh, it's a couple years old. So stick with us. We'll be right back. Okay. And
Guess which costume I'm doing next, Frank? You know I have costumes, right?
I know.
Disney costumes?
I've seen your Ariel costume before, and
Yeah.
I can't think that you'd repeat yourself too much.
Well, with Ariel, she has a few other costumes. So I have her mermaid version,
Yeah.
her blue town dress, her park dress, the old version now, and her pink ball gown.
Well,
So I have those.
okay.
But
I'm guessing it's not Ariel though.
no, it's not Ariel.
But
It's a very. I have her. I have her already. It's a very chilly lady.
Cruella?
Where?
Chili. Oh,
From-
Frozen.
From the Frozen?
Yeah, I'm doing Elsa from Frozen.
Now Elsa is which I haven't seen Frozen yet, so you'll have to remind me which one is Elsa.
Oh, I can do better than remind you. I can show you which one is Elsa. She is. Oh, come on, photos. It
Is this
doesn't wanna pop out
cosplay?
for me. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's right. I do conventions and stuff. We take pictures of cosplay.
This is Elsa. I don't know if you can see. This is the park version.
Yes. Oh, okay. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the park version. I'm actually piecing together a few different things.
They're doing.
I found-
They're doing at the. I guess it's at Disney World. I assume. I don't know. Are they doing a meet and greet at Disneyland for
Yeah.
her?
Yeah. Her and Anna, her sister.
Yeah.
So I'm piecing together. I found this. It's like a prom grad evening formal dress on eBay. It was $40.
Nice.
I was like, okay. And then I found a mesh undershirt that I can put under it, and then I bought material the other day for her big cape that flows behind her. And I didn't want like a solid color. I wanted kind of like something kind of shimmery, light, either blue or white. So I found like a nice little sheer organza, and I'm gonna hopefully my sewing skills are good enough. I can like sew the edges, and I was thinking of adding like magnets to the back of the prom dress and just sticking it in that way. But I don't know. I'll figure it out. So that's what I'm doing for my next costume.
Denny gets real creative with that stuff.
Yeah.
Are you going to a convention or?
Yeah, I'm gonna go to a convention. We have one. I actually just I went to a convention November 3rd. It was our version of Comic-Con, and I dressed up as a character. It wasn't Disney at all. It was a Buffy character from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And I actually met a celebrity, and I was all tongue-tied and everything. So I went to that convention, and then they're doing another convention in March, which is called the Pop Culture Convention. So I figure that'll work with Disney being pop culture right now. So yeah, I'm gonna go to that one.
What
in
city
March.
are you in again?
I'm in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada.
I think I have a friend there. To all the convention.
Okay, let's we
I know I have a friend there. His name is Frank.
we can talk some more after the show. Let me.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Well,
okay.
I'd have to do dinner then, though.
Okay, so we're gonna go into the last part of the show. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back, everybody. And now I'm going to play one of my. This is an older Mouse to Piece Theater, and to be honest, I don't remember. When I used to do Mouse to Piece Theater, I thought I'd create a host for the show, so I don't remember this one if the host is there or not. I stopped doing it after a while. But this is Mickey and Goofy in a scene from Airplane.
Hello, art lovers. This is Reginald Van Reginald, your host for Mr. Frank's Mouse to Piece Theater. And today we have a very exceptional piece. We have Mickey and Goofy in a scene from the movie Airplane. This is the cockpit scene where the young boy has come to visit the pilots. Enjoy. Oh, we have a visitor.
Hello.
Oh, gosh, hi.
This is Captain Over, and Mr. Murdoch, and Mr. Johnson, and this is Joey Hammond.
Well, gosh, come up here, Joey. You can see better.
Joey, now there's something special. We give our special visitors this little airplane. Would you like to have it?
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Have you ever been in a cockpit before, Joey?
Oh, no, sir. I've never been up in a plane before.
Have you ever been in a Turkish prison?
Do you want me to check the weather there, Clarence?
My gosh, no, boy. Joey, why don't you take care of it?
Okay, now, Joey and I better get back now.
Oh, no, Joey can stay up here for a while if you'd like to.
Oh, boy, could I? Okay, if you don't get in the way.
Flight 209 Denver Radio, climbing to cruise at 42,000. We'll report again over Lincoln, over and out.
Hey, wait a minute. I know you. You're Goofy. You play at Disneyland.
No, I'm sorry, son. No. But you must, gosh, have me confused with someone else. My name is Roger Murdoch. I'm the co-pilot. Victor, why don't you get the coordinates on the altitude vector and find out the ratio of direct velocity over engine speed? Whatever that is.
You are Goofy. You are. I've seen you play at Disneyland. My daddy got us season passes.
Now, Joey, I think you should go back to your seat now, right, Clarence?
Oh, no. Oh, yeah. Gosh, he's not bothering anyone. Let him stay up here.
All right, but just remember, my name is Roger Murdoch. I'm an airline pilot. Clarence, according to my calculations, this tailwind, we ought to be able to make an additional 15 minutes over the Rockies.
Oh, Goofy, I think you're the greatest. But my dad says you don't work hard enough at the parks.
Denver Control, this is Flight 209er, intersecting Vector Airway 799er.
And he also says lots of times you don't even really go very far in the parks.
We are a ghost turning left to a heading of a 099er.
And he also says that you don't really try, well, except, on special events.
Well, gosh, Joey, the heck I don't. I'm there beating my bums every night. Well, listen, kid, I've been hearing all that stuff ever since the early days of my cartoons. You tell your old man he should just drag old Bugs Bunny or Daffy Duck up and down the park for 48 minutes or hours or at a time. Sorry about that. A Denver Control. This is Flight 209er, continuing on a heading to Niner.
What the heck?
And scene. It brings a tear to my eye. I promised myself I wouldn't cry. I promised myself.
Okay, that's enough of that silliness. Okay, so that was a scene from Airplane.
Yes, Airplane.
So I want to thank everybody who came into the chat room. I hope you enjoyed our visit with Katie Von Till, and again, follow her on Twitter at Katie Von Till, and she is the voice of Snow White. So you can say you're friends with Snow White now, and but she was very nice. And
Dream.
What's that?
It's every girl's dream.
That's right.
Friends with Snow White.
So I hope everybody enjoyed it, and ladies, thank you. Denny, thank you for coming on and being with us this evening.
You're welcome.
And as always, Christiane, thank you so much. And we'll be back. Well, I'm hoping in a couple of weeks. It's going to be right around, Thanksgiving, isn't it?
No.
What? No, Thanksgiving.
For us. For us.
Right.
Yeah, for us. I'm sorry.
We already had Thanksgiving.
I have to always remember I'm
It's a
talking
Canada
to.
thing.
Yeah. So, as I always say, be kind to one another, take care of each other, spread a little Disney magic where you can. Good night.
Good night.
Night.